What's going on, folks? Robbie Drew here. I keep getting asked in Skirmish, what build are you using? It's a Lonestar, but it's not just any Lonestar. It's a Glass Alejandro Lonestar, and it's built a little different from your typical run-of-the-mill MG5 Lonestar. We're going to go into that build in the video. So, let's talk a little bit about my Glass Lonestar. Chest piece, enemy armor damage, and health. Firearms. The mask, I have critical hit chance, firearms. The knee pads, we've got health, we've got burn resistance, we've got bleed resistance, and then the other stat, could I have gone something different? Yeah, but the main primary thing, health, firearms. Backpack, absolute must, take the stability. Take the stability. And then firearms. For the gloves, the Trinity, critical hit chance, critical hit damage. And then the LMG weapon damage. Firearms. And finally, we have the holster. Now I know what you're saying, where's all the critical hit chance? This should be stacked up on this thing. Well, when I started running this, something kind of dawned on me. We're using Alejandros here, and because we're not using those MG5s, we don't get a lot of the critical hit damage stack that you would get on the weapons. So, I built it a little bit different. I took the accurate, but we went ahead and just took accurate on the barrel as well. I did take critical hit damage with headshot damage on the one that I used long range, and I did take a magazine side. Now, the reason why I didn't take what I took on my other one, which was straight headshot damage, is because it's made for long range. It's not, if I'm using it over 30 meters, there's no likeliness that I'm going to hit a headshot or be able to pump that in the head. Now, this gun has brutal, accurate, and then, of course, the cover shooter. Everybody knows the bonus. And it's made more for when I come close encounter. Now, I actually paint my guns to know the difference. So if I see the green gun in my hand, that's the green light to go ahead and light them up close range. If I have the blue in my hand and I'm procced, I might consider running. It's a strong possibility, but that's the way of being Glass, So, and the logic behind this is I wanted to keep it accurate. I wanted to be able to hit headshots, and that's what we did. That's how we made the build. How does it work? Well, let's go to the video. So you can see here, the major concept is if you can't find a wall to grab and snipe, well, bad word to use, snipe, but just lolly bullets from a distance where you're perched and procking that cover shooter, you basically use your teammates as meat shields, and you kind of fight around them. But the good news is when you're fighting 1,000 rounds and you're able to keep that accuracy there, you're able to actually hit your shots. And that means that you can actually move around and do what you need to do. And because I gave up all that critical hit chance for health, I'm not quite as squishy as your average Lonestar, which most of them go for that max critical hit chance, critical hit damage, and it's a lot of babysitting. And if you're playing Skirmish, you just don't have time for that, especially because you already take an additional 125 point nerf off your health for the holster. So that's a lot of ticks when you're considering you're already running Glass already. Now you can see here, because of that brutal, I can go ahead and face tank strikers, no problem. And we're going to keep moving. So we take perch. And as I'm moving along, you'll notice I'm proccing my weapon talents, which is steady hands. Modifiers, for my mods, it's just critical hit chance. And then I'm using the recon pulse just to constantly pulse. I've been known to switch around. Sometimes I'll take critical hit damage, but honestly, it's not going to make that big of a difference. If I'm playing against snipers, I'll usually switch it over to conceal. And sometimes you're not really getting a lot of kills just as much as just working from the back and getting assists for everybody, especially when you're playing a really good team that figures out who the squishiest is. But when you have a D3 that you can work around, it helps. Comes another Lonestar again who wants the challenge. Oh, no, that was the Nomad. So we're going to go ahead and regenerate. Oh, that terminal sound is making me crazy. There we go. And we move in for round 2. Just so you can see more of this gameplay. Now soon I'm going to start proccing that cover shooter, and you can actually see what kind of damage I do. I like to run blue with it. And my philosophy is this. Most Lone Stars, for some reason, they love to run yellow. But that yellow, yeah, you've already got damage. And the blue is more of a multi-tool. If I need survivability, I can pop blue. If I want to run up on them and just kill somebody, I can pop blue. So it's more of a multi-tool when it comes to Lone Star. Now you notice I love this part where they go and perch, because even though it's an LMG and it doesn't do that much damage to people in cover, what I can do is I use that brutal and utilize it and overcome that lack of damage and still put them down while they're popping their head up. And with that actual stability there, it just makes it so much easier between that and the steady hands. And we're still shooting. This is the point where I'm deciding who I'm actually going to put down. And I got really lucky here, because if they had been smart, they would have went ahead and just noticed me sitting there shooting, and they should have realized I am the squishiest one there, but it is what it is. And there's the proc, and another one down. And now we're moving in.
We're in front now.
And I think we're just about game. It's coming up here shortly. I think I need to get the last kill. But it is what it is. But you're getting the idea of the Lone Star. So remember, modifiers, pulse critical hit chance, because you really don't need it, but for this actual build, there's nothing that really fits it better. Again, I'm not worried about... I could run a box, but I'm not really that worried about health. Usually I'm not fighting close enough to my guys that if I pop a box, I'm going to end up healing them. You know, I'm not that kind of build, and I really don't want to run up that close on them and get noticed, especially because if they hit me a couple of times. And good players will hit you and say, that's the squishiest one, and then I become the constant target. And then the whole effect of what Lone Star is all about, it just kind of gets lost. So that's your build in a nutshell. Any questions, hit me up. Robbie Drew. Peace.